on the issue of immigration.
This whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making.
You support giving universal health care, Medicare for all, to people who are in this country illegally?
Let me just be very clear about this. I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, or public health, period. We have to have a secure border, but I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented and cross the border as criminals. That's correct. The border is secure. Listen, I think there's no question that we've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered and the work it is doing, and we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
And now she wants to offer a path to citizenship, which by any definition would be amnesty. Your reaction?
But, well, before you even start with that, of course it's ridiculous. You can't do it. No country could sustain this. But she wants no fracking in Pennsylvania. She wants no fracking. And she said it 100 times.
I'm surprised that this didn't get as much coverage as I thought it would. I mean, I'm recording this like, what, 6 in the morning? And it's been really hard to find clips of the town hall for Donald Trump's Fox town hall with Sean Kennedy, but I was able to make do with some clips. So I'm gonna kind of give this like an overall kind of lay of the land on Trump's campaign, where he's at currently, some of the criticisms. As you know, on this channel, I try to give you guys both sides of the story, and then I give my thoughts at the end of it. So in the first half, you saw Trump talking about, they reviewed Kamala Harris' statements that she made out of her own mouth in her previous campaign run. And some of the things that I want to highlight too is that when she, on her 16-minute, which Trump makes fun of in this next clip right here,
She will not allow fracking. She's not going to, and she's got a lot of other problems too. But for your particular, for the Commonwealth, you have no choice
if I may,
but to allow it.
16 minutes and 30 seconds are up. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Barry.
The president has spoken for a total of 16 minutes and 30 seconds.
I'll say something else.
Real quick, because we got a break.
If you watch that interview, she had notes. That means she knew the questions, and she had notes. She kept looking down, up. Nobody wants to cover it. I know all about notes. I mean, it's all right if people know that, but she wasn't supposed to have notes. So she's asked a question. She looks down. She keeps. She had notes. That means she knew that she knew what was happening.
Did her campaign, when they said that they wanted to change the rules that they had agreed to, did they ask for notes? Did they ask for the?
They wanted notes.
They wanted to be seated, and they wanted your mic hot.
And they wanted a desk. They didn't want to do. I said, you got to do a stand-up.
After they already agreed to the other.
Yeah, but they wanted a desk from the beginning. You know who else wanted a desk? Sleepy Joe. He wanted a desk.
All right, we got to take a break. More with President Trump. We are in Harrisburg.
Yeah, as you saw, he made fun of the fact that she only did it for 16 minutes and 30 seconds to show you, pretty much, I think that was a good job by Sean Hannity. He really highlighted how brief that interview was from Kamala Harris. But, I'm going to go to Mediaite. Mediaite, there's a guy called Lawrence O'Donnell. O'Donnell. I'm going to say O'Donnell. I'll probably say it wrong, but he calls Trump the laziest presidential campaigner in modern history. And what he works for? MSNBC, of course. And lately, I've been railing against the MSNBC for a long time. I don't know what it was, right? And on the top, you see Mediaite is a left-leaning site. You see how they react to Trump's thing. They say Trump takes detour during town hall. He was down 18 or 19 points after the debates, and I hate mosquitoes. So from Joe Biden, mosquitoes, like they lead in with the most unsubstantive part of the interview. While I highlighted what I care about, policy. Okay, here's the position on fracking. Here's how Pennsylvania reacted to her flip-flopping on fracking. And the fact that on the interview with Dana Bash, she said that I already stated in the 2020 vice presidential debate that I wasn't for fracking. You go and you look at the video, and I think I did this on one of my videos. I forgot what. I think it was my reaction to her interview with Dana Bash. I highlighted and show you a clip of her actually saying, like CNN actually fact checking her, saying that, yeah, you stated Joe Biden wasn't for fracking during your vice presidential debate, but you never stated that you was against fracking. So there's no proof that you actually changed your positions on this issue. And this is something that the left and Democrats, they keep trying to gaslight people into, seeing her as a moderate, and I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, I honestly, I don't think that's gonna happen. But it's laughable that Kamala Harris only does one interview, Trump and JD Vance does 34 interviews, yet Donald Trump's running the laziest campaign ever when he's going on podcasts where he's trying to expand his base, which is young voters, young male voters. He's trying to galvanize them. He's trying to encourage them. That's why he's gone to Lex Friedman's podcast. He went to Theo Van's podcast. Trump is doing interviews, right? And it's a two-pronged strategy that I noticed that the Trump campaign is doing. And the fact that, he's doing a town hall on Tuesday at the time of this video. He's going to do a debate with Kamala Harris, but he's the laziest campaign ever in modern history. Okay, MSNBC. I love how he calls Donald Trump like the laziest. Like, this is a narrative Trump does not have a single campaign event this week, according to his website. His next scheduled public appearance is Saturday in Wisconsin because he's doing interviews. Like, this is like the left. I don't know if they love living in their imagination or not, but this is starting to get ridiculous, man. I'm starting to get tired calling y'all out on this ish. Like I said, they only want to control your perception. They don't want to inform you of the truth. They don't want you to have an educated decision. They want you to have one-sided information, and they want you to vote based on that one-sided information. That's why the left loves censorship so much. This is why they praise Brazil for banning X in their country and fining anyone $8,000 if they're found on a VPN accessing X. Brazil, a left-wing presidency. And they're going to try to do this here with Kamala Harris. Allegedly, anyway. But, I mean, she did say she would censor X if she wins the presidential election. AKA, she ain't going to let you speak the way you want to speak. You got to speak exactly how she want you to speak. We want to moderate content, AKA control content. And this is the double speak I hate about many people on the left, especially Democrats. They love to use these, like, they like to use softer sounding words. You didn't get fired. We're just separated from the company. Right? They always, this is the kind of language game I see that the left love to play. And I find it like a mockery almost. She's getting out here, called out for fake accents. CNN's worried. Like, I like the fact that MSNBC is like finally showing its A, but Trump had some great moments, and I want to highlight that here in this video. So here's a 22-second clip of him, being funny, being Trump. Because end of the day, Trump is likable, right? And this idea, this narrative that MSNBC is trying to push out that Trump is lazy, Trump is unlikable, unfavorable. Liz Cheney just endorsed Kamala Harris. I'm going to talk on this about that also, but I wanted to show you guys this clip first.
He was down like 18 or 19 points after the debate. And I hate mosquitoes. I'm surprised. I didn't think we had. We don't like those mosquitoes running around. We want nothing to do with them. And we want nothing to do with bad politicians that hate our country, too. You want to know the truth. But
this lands. And to me, it lands. Because think about it. Who's prioritizing illegal immigrants over the American citizens? Democratic-ran cities. Look at Chicago. You going into debt, budget shortfalls just to keep illegals coming into the country. You can say all you want, Democrats. You can talk about how y'all changing your positions on the border. You want to enforce a border, right? You found new ways to usher them in through the border, right? Instead of, oh, look, border crossing is down, except you're flying them in now. Like, yo, the problem is we don't want more people coming inside the country. It doesn't matter how you change it. Oh, they're not coming through the border anymore. They're coming through plane, right? And then someone got mad. I did a video about like why women are differing on, like, men are leaving the Democratic Party, and I got a commenter who talked about something about how he thinks I'm trying to create a narrative about how it's man versus woman, and I'm not trying to create that narrative. It's just his perception. He's creating that narrative in his head, right? These leftists, they suffer more from imagination than from reality. The reality is, I'm just pointing out that men and women have different priorities when they vote.
Women's rights to reproductive choice is at the top of our list. Other things are health care, racial justice, all kinds of things, schools, education.
And the data shows that women care about abortion. 38% of women, suburban women, care about abortion. Abortion is their top issue. And I'm like, how the hell that could be your top issue when we got more pressing things like the economy going through, right? And that's why I say it's an emotional reason. For the men, it was economy, immigration, inflation. Those are those things are what's immediately hurting people right now. Abortion's a what if kind of situation. What if I got pregnant by a one night stand and I didn't want the baby? And I just categorize that as like a very emotional reason to vote. And I highlighted how single issue voters are mostly emotional, and I believe most of them will be women. I gave my opinion about that. Did the commenter who disagreed on my statement about that, did he give any facts, evidence? No, he just gave me a bunch of narrative fluff. Oh, a man shouldn't be feel threatened by a woman's accomplishments. And I'm like, yo, graduating college isn't an accomplishment for me. It's not. What you do with it is what it's an accomplishment, right? Like, make it make sense. And I think, I don't know, the whole framing was flawed, right? And it just seemed like he was projecting how he feels and try to make it as a statement of fact when it wasn't. And the funny part is he admitted he didn't watch the full video. So this is the kind of the things you get when you do YouTube or you do anything on the internet, that before people even see the full video, they make a framing or an argument that you kind of already debunked in the video, but they wasn't patient enough to watch the whole thing before they commented. But I digress. That's just my little pet peeve of mine, right? You don't let me finish my full statement, and then you're already interjecting a narrative that I clearly debunk in the video. Because with data and stat, I'm just pointing out what I observe, and based on what I observe, I gave you my framing of it. But you try to softly imply that somehow I'm a sexist. Okay. Like this is what we're talking about. These feminine men, they hear basing things on imagination. I'm just tired of it, bro. Honestly, I'm just tired. That's what Kamala Harris supporters sound like to me, anyway. But I digress. This is more relatable to me than whatever Tim Walz is talking about with tampons and stuff. Like this is the narrative. This is what I'm talking about. Why that the Democratic messaging is too feminine, because it puts men like almost in a subservient role to women. And with the Republican Party, it's more like, yo, family guy. Like, yo, you're chilling with your family, you're chilling with your team, you have your dog and your son with you. Like, now, if it was Biden's dog, it would have been biting people, right? Well trained, well respected dog. Like it kind of shows you, the pets kind of show you what kind of owner you have, right? If the pet is like unable to keep itself controlled, is jumping on people, you can show that, okay, the owner lacked training. He didn't train the dog properly. But look, this dog, I see videos of JD Vance's dog without a leash, just following him, not bothering anybody. And I'm like, yo, that's the difference between a conservative parent and parenting and liberal parenting. And yes, before someone comes at me in the comment section, studies have shown that conservative parents, their kids tend to have better outcomes than liberal parents, especially when it comes to mental health. I'm just saying, you can look that up in the data, and you can fight me, you can cry about it, but that's data. Now, the establishment party, the Uniparty, is endorsing Kamala Harris. This woman just endorsed Kamala Harris. This is what she made years ago. Kamala Harris, this is 2020. Kamala Harris is a radical liberal who will raise taxes, take away guns and health insurance, and explode the size of power of the federal government. She wants to recreate America in an image of what's happening in the streets of Portland and Charlotte. We won't let her, Seattle, sorry. We won't give her the chance. She just endorsed her in 2024. And then she tries to say, oh, it's because Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. Donald Trump is a threat to this. And all I see is this is just political. Same reason why Mike Pence won't endorse Donald Trump. But a part of me as an independent, I don't want that. I don't want a Liz Cheney Republican Party. If let's say Trump loses and these like the Liz Cheneys of the world, the Nikki Haley's of the world, if they become like the common thing, like if they become the majority power in the Republican Party, I probably won't vote Republican ever again. I'm honestly on that. I'm like, literally, that's how much of that style of I don't want. They just want to be an opposition party. I remember someone mentioned that. They just want to be an opposition party. They want to sit there and not do anything. They don't want to push for a vision. I'll make the argument that the conservative voters are more conservative than the politicians that they send into Washington.
Big endorsement. Liz Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris.
Oh, no.
And
Oh, no.
It's so interesting, isn't it, that every failed warmonger in the established D.C., let's just say machine, is behind Kamala Harris. That the peacemakers are behind Trump and Vance. Blessed are the peacemakers, is what the scriptures say. Your thoughts, JD?
Well, maybe the best thing, not the very best thing, but a very good thing that I could say about the next presidency of Donald J. Trump is that he's going to make sure that people like Liz Cheney are laughed out of the Oval Office instead of rewarded, because this is a person.
And that's one criticism that Donald Trump gets a lot for his 2016. And people say, oh, what's going to be any different from his 2016 campaign? He don't know how to surround himself with good people. It seemed like Trump noticed that weakness. He put RFK as part of his transition team, Tulsi Gabbard as part of his transition team. Now, hardline Republicans don't like that. They hate that. They say, how is this conservative? It is conservative. Not every, like, conservatism isn't synonymous with Republicans. That's all I'm trying to say. So he's going to have a balance there where, yo, this guy, he's kind of too a hardliner. Because end of the day, Trump is the moderate in this election. If you're an independent voter, which is 51% of America, Trump is the obvious choice. He has former Democrats, right? Many independents are former Democrats, former Republicans. Why not vote for a party that represents you? Independents. As a fellow independent, I'm speaking to my people right now. Why not vote for a party that's more representative of you? You got RFK, you got Tulsi Gabbard, you got former Democrats being a part of his administration. Donald Trump was willing to have libertarians in his cabinet. Like, come on. What about Kamala Harris? As usual, after Trump does something, she wants to do it. Now she's talking about bringing on former Republicans. But former Republicans, what kind of former Republicans you're bringing on? Kamala Harris, like Liz Cheney, who just endorsed you?
This is a person whose entire career has been about sending other people's children off to fight and die for her military conflicts and her ridiculous ideas that somehow we were going to turn Afghanistan, a country that doesn't even...
Sorry, I keep pausing it. America, you want the Republican Party to be more of what, like a party about visions. Hey, we don't want to do these things unless it's necessary. We don't want to do things because it happens to enrich everybody in Washington, our donors, and somehow it benefits us in the long haul, like Nikki Haley being a board member for some company like Boeing. Right? We don't want that. We don't want these backdoor deals and them having different incentives other than the will and the interest of the people. What interest is of the people to go in and put them in another country to go what? Invade? And then they get mad when libertarians like to point out how America acts like an empire, like the British Empire in a way. You go in, you create chaos in somebody else's country, then you come in, take over, you elect someone that's favorable to you, and then you get resources from it. Like, when you play these games, right, and don't get mad when you get criticism. And as a nationalist, as my nationality or my loyalty isn't to a government. When I speak as a nationalist, it's to the populace, the people, right? My communities. As American, my American communities, my statesmen, my fellow citizens. Those are where my loyalty lies. And I say, yo, this is not in the best interest of my people. We shouldn't be trying to send us off to war for what? Who benefits from this? Us? Do we, the people, benefit from going to war? No. We lose more than we gain going to war. We lose our lives. We lose our children. This is the message of the new right. That's why I say I like to categorize myself as the new right. Whatever Liz Cheney is, I'm not that. Whatever Mike Pence is, I'm not that.
Even have running water in a lot of places into a thriving liberal democracy. And for that, Liz Cheney was willing to kill thousands of your children. Liz Cheney, you know what? I think it's the best thing in the world that she's supporting Kamala Harris. You are right. Blessed are the peacemakers. Kamala Harris and Liz Cheney make very, very interesting partners. They get rich when America's sons and daughters go off to die. They get rich when America loses wars instead of winning wars. And they get rich when America gets weaker in the world. We want American strength, American security, and most importantly, peace. Let's bring peace back to the world. And Donald Trump is the candidate to do it.
Great speech, right? But I just want to highlight, because, you know, the claims of that Donald Trump is flip-flopping, Donald Trump is behind, Donald Trump can't win. CNN is freaking out. To me, it seems like they're freaking out. I could be reading too much into it, but to me, it looked like CNN's freaking out. So let's take a look at this clip and I'll give my response.
If you look at the white voters without college degrees, this is a Trump base constituency, obviously. You see his huge numbers with this group. You see that this is a trouble sign for Harris. She also, in a place like Georgia, is not doing well with white college-educated voters. She probably wants...
And this is something I try to highlight in my video. Someone, like, when I said that Kamala Harris's campaign is like pending unraveling, and they try to make this argument that it doesn't matter. She's a person of color and she's going to galvanize the female vote. Oh, because females vote more than males and all this stuff. And I go, your female vote won't matter if the white vote, if the white male vote decides we going, let's say these numbers hold true and they go 70% for Trump, and even getting the college educated white vote. Y'all done. Y'all not winning. It don't matter how much black women, it don't matter if black women voted 100% for Kamala Harris. Y'all still losing that election. That's why I laugh at these people who try to make this argument like, minorities are deciding. No, white voters always decide the election. No matter, because if the white vote voted just like the black vote did, Democrats will never win. This is what I'm saying. You have to appeal to all Americans. You can't just appeal to one group of people. This is why Democrats don't run on reparations. But you know, it's like people, they let their emotions get in the way. Because they want something so bad, they find any kind of rationalization to try to justify why that politician should run on it. When she had no chance during the primaries, that's when you're most ideologically pure, right? Because you're trying to out Democrat the other Democrats. That's why in 2020 she said she was for reparations. Now that she's a candidate, she can't say she support reparations, because the white vote is going to be like, I had nothing to do with slavery. And I ain't paying for no one who's never was a slave. Bye. That's why the Democrats don't vote on reparations. That's why the bill didn't pass in California. Like, come on. Black America, y'all need to be more strategic, bro. You got to understand that you're not the only one in this country. The country is not 77% black, okay? You're 13% of the population, and you're making demands like you're the majority. And your vote is only hurting the Democratic vote. It don't hurt the Republican vote. The Republicans already shown they can win without you. Donald Trump only got 12% of your vote, and he almost won the election. Trump won with only 6% of the vote, the black vote, in 2016. Like, your vote only hurts the Democratic Party. And the Democrats know this. This is why they always put this emotional blackmail game on you guys. I got a video coming out talking about like what I think is wrong with the black community, but I digress. Let's continue with the polling here.
To make up some ground with white college-educated voters across these battlegrounds as well, Kate.
An important gut check for both campaigns and on multiple levels in multiple states is what's coming out here. It's great.
Yeah, but Trump can't win, MSNBC host Joe Scarborough says. Right? And then I'll end it off with this final video because, you know, the accusation, like the MSNBC video, the one with Joe Scarborough that I reacted to, it really did piss me off, bro. He really called Donald Trump a flip-flopper. When you got Kamala Harris out here flip-flopping like a... It's crazy, bro. Here's a clip of Christian Walker playing defense for Kamala Harris. And this is why Kamala Harris don't do interviews. Because she's not getting attacked by the media. The media attacks Republicans, and then they swoon over Democrats. And this is the problem. This is why people don't trust the mainstream media. This is why only Democrats trust the mainstream media. If you look at the stats who trust the mainstream media, 58% of Democrats trust the mainstream media, only 34% of independents trust mainstream media, and only 12% of Republicans trust mainstream media. That means Two political fractions do not trust an institution, only one does, and it's the one that's favorable to them. 97% of U.S. journalists are Democrats. Is it no surprise that 58% of Democrats trust the mainstream media? Make it make sense, because they do ish like this.
President Biden passed a series of executive actions, and illegal border crossings are now at their lowest levels in about 5 years, so much so that Greg Abbott is no longer busing people to other cities. But let me ask you this fundamental question,
please.
Will families be separated under your mass deportation?
And again, I do want to answer this question about families and about deportations, but you made this point that border crossings are lower. Border crossings at the southern border are lower because the Harris administration is sending more immigrants through the ports of entry. So instead of coming through the southern border, they're now being flown at taxpayer expense to the ports of entry all over our country. The number of illegal crossings, they're not any lower. They're just shuffling how the people are coming into the country in the first place. And this is very important.
They're able to
about
process them more
deportations.
efficiently, but Greg Abbott's not setting them to other
Kristen,
states.
I don't want a border czar who makes it more efficient for illegal immigrants to come into this country. That's
Boom.
why we have the problem that we have.
President Biden.
Exactly. That blew up in her face. But this is a game that the media play. They try to play that they're objective. They try to play that they're this and that. Like, come on. Like, this is getting some ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous at this point, man. Like Donald Trump, like, as much as you guys want to say, because like
the moment.
Sorry, guys. I'm on this tirade right now that I want to end tribalism, right? And if I'm a person who wants to end tribalism, I'm truly not bipartisan or partisan, sorry. If I'm truly not partisan, Donald Trump is the obvious ticket compared to who is giving me more of what I want. Former Democrats are part of this administration. He reached out to libertarians, right? The only reason liberals ain't really going for Trump is because they got Trump derangement syndrome, because they've been conditioned by the mainstream media to see him as bad. Mainstream media covers Trump 89% of the time negatively. Remember, I just pointed out 58% of Democrats trust the mainstream media, so that means majority of Democrats are influenced by mainstream media. And if mainstream media covering a guy 89% of the time negatively, is it any surprise that liberals have such a derangement towards Trump? It's not surprising. It's not surprising. But liberals have to reflect, and that's something liberals have a hard time doing, self-reflection, and have to up and see, yo, I'm being manipulated to think this way about this guy. And that's the issue. This is it. Media is the core of all the political problems that's going on right now. Malcolm X, I don't agree with everything he says. I don't agree with everything he stands for. But when someone's right, they're right. The media is the most dangerous entity in the planet. It can make the innocent guilty and the guilty innocent. And this is what's going on with Trump. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. I got videos going over this information. And it's baffling to me how people who I'm so against Trump. Why are you against him? Can't name one reason. Oh, he's mean. He's racist. He's this, that. Show me a clip. Show me something you observe with your own eyes of him saying something racist. All these are allegations. Anyone can say anything. I can say you're a racist, commenter. Whoever's going to disagree with me, I can say, yeah, you're a racist. You're not black. You got to show me proof you're black. You got to prove your innocence to me. When in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. You have to prove someone's guilty. But in the media, in the court of public opinion, someone has to prove that they're innocent. All that someone has to do is launch an allegation, and all of a sudden, your dissenters will just agree with it without any scrutiny, without any question. And this is a problem with our politics today. But I digress. Let me know your reaction to Donald Trump's town hall. How you feel about Liz Cheney's endorsement of Kamala Harris. Do you approve, disapprove? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.